Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk Podcast post game. Hope you guys are having a great night so far. This is something that I want to do this season with you guys after the Pistons do win. I want to have these post game live streams with you guys because I feel like at the end of the game, we could talk about the game. I have a ton of notes. Like I'm going to show you guys right now. You probably can't see because of my green screen, but I have a ton of notes that I took throughout the game. And I just kind of want to talk about the notes that I did take. And at the end of this podcast, end of this live stream, I'll take some Q&A questions for you guys. Any maybe questions that you want me to answer, maybe just some comments. I'll read in the chat. I see there's a lot of comments right now with this game, but this is something that I just want to do for you guys. I'm fired up, man. That was such a great basketball game. We'll get into the first quarter. Now, the first quarter, I would say probably for the first like 5 minutes, the Bucks could not miss from three. At one point, it was like 20-3. Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez could just not miss a 3-pointer. And I was like, kind of getting like that PTSD from last year. We're like, okay, here we go. But what happened, and a lot of you guys that did watch the game is took a timeout, substitutions came in, Isaiah Stewart and Ron Holland checked into the game, right? I honestly thought they changed the whole tempo of the, last maybe 4 to 5 minutes of the first quarter. Ron Holland just came in, brought the energy, defense, guarded multiple guys throughout the game tonight. Same with Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart came out there and they started locking guys down. The Pistons kind of settled down a little bit. In my opinion, that's what I saw anyways, of just those two kind of coming in, and it settled down a little bit because before those guys checked into the game, it was very sloppy. No one was really playing any defense, no communication whatsoever. But once Ron and Stu did come into the game, things started getting better on both ends of the floor. Also, want to talk about Malik Beasley for a minute. Malik Beasley, I love the fact that he was hitting his threes tonight. He's a guy that really impressed me in the first quarter, hitting his threes, playing some defense, switching defensively. I think he's going to be a pretty big piece for the Pistons this year. I really do. I know some people have kind of just, I don't want to say people slept on the signing. I think people kind of rolled their eyes because maybe I've kind of overreacted to Malik Beasley signing, but I really like him as a player. I think he's going to be a really big piece to this team if they do want to try to compete and possibly, compete with that play-in this year. I think Malik Beasley is a really big contributor to that. And I really liked what I saw from him tonight, playing on both ends of the floor. Isaiah Stewart. Now, I know I talked about him a little bit ago with Ron Holland. He was playing the backup five. Now, I think a lot of us, we kind of penciled him in at the backup center, but I really like Isaiah Stewart playing the backup center, backing up Jalen Duren, not forcing him to be out in the perimeter like all the time. Now, there were some plays tonight where he was shooting threes, which that's okay. You shoot like 3 to 5 3-pointers a game, I'm okay with it. But I really liked him down low in the post tonight. I really liked him, setting picks. There was a couple plays where, Cade looked for him. Ivy was trying to dump passes to him. I like Stu at the backup five. And I think a lot of fans, once they, see Stu, play backup minutes or off the bench, I think they'll get more comfortable with him as a player. I know he's a very polarizing player in the community in terms of just like some people like him, some people don't. I happen to like him a lot. I really do. Another note I did take down is I gotta talk about Jaden Ivey for the first quarter, you guys. There's been so much conversation with him, and I think a lot of it's unknown. A lot of us we didn't really know what was going to happen with him, given what like last year with Monty. We didn't know if he was going to start, if he was going to be coming off the bench. But Jaden Ivey was aggressive, you know, as soon as the first quarter started, getting to the basket, hitting his threes, initiating the offense when Cade wasn't out there. Like I was so happy and proud of Jaden Ivey tonight. I just really, really loved Jaden Ivey's just effort tonight. I don't have my phone because it did die because I was texting during the game in our group chat and like they blew it up. I think there was like over 600 messages in there, but wish I did have my phone because I did want to read the stats off for you guys, but I don't have it. Want to kind of transition into our second quarter notes. Ivy still stayed hot. Pistons got back into the game. At halftime, it was 60-58. They came back into the game. They got the lead. Really liked what I saw from Ivy. Duran started to pick it up in the second quarter. The first quarter for him, I don't know if it was just a little bit slow legs. Once the second quarter happened, about midway through the second quarter, Durham was getting more active. He was protecting the rim. Ivy threw him a little lob. He was attacking Brook Lopez, even though Brook Lopez blocked him a couple of times. He still continued to attack Brook Lopez. He had a pretty nice dunk over him or on him, if you guys do want to call it that. But really like what I saw out of Durham. He was way more active in the second quarter, in my personal opinion. Really happy to see him not only play on the offensive end, but at least give effort on the defensive end of the floor. And I think that's what I saw from him tonight. He was attempting the block shots. He was attempting the block rim. I think that has been the biggest criticism out of a lot of fans last year was there was just no effort trying to protect the rim, and he did that tonight. And that's something that he said that he wants to do more this year, and he did show up by the midway through the second quarter. Really happy that he did step up, just protecting the rim. Now the defense did pick up in the second quarter as well. I think that was some of the better defense I've seen from the Detroit Pistons in quite a long time. Ron Holland was just a menace. There was a little spurt during the second quarter where he was getting under Damian Lillard's skin. Damian Lillard's had some word for him, but Ron wasn't really fazed by it. Guarded multiple guys tonight on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I just loved it. I loved his energy. He had a steal, I believe, on Gary Trent Jr., I believe it was, and went coast to coast and score the ball. Really like what I'm seeing out of Ron, just in this first preseason game. And if Asar does miss some time, I think Ron Holland can just step in immediately and be that guy that the Pistons could use if they need a defender out there. They need a stopper. I think Ron Holland, it's going to be really hard to keep him out of the rotation just with the impact. He had a lot of second chance hustle plays. There was a few plays where he chased down a loose ball, got the rebound and passed it to the open teammate. I believe he hit Ivy and Beasley, I believe it was, at least once or twice in this game. And I just love his activeness on the court. He never gives up on a play, just a gritty player. And I'm really happy that he had a really good showing up, because I know a lot of Pistons fans were the fifth pick this year. I think a lot of fans were kind of up in the air about the decision that Trajan Langdon did make. But Ron Holland, man, like hell of a game. Rookie debut. I think playing in the G League night really helped him. And I know some people do kind of like say, the G League doesn't really have that much competition. Ron didn't look phased out there at all. Transitioning into the third quarter, obviously the Pistons, had the lead going into halftime, 60-58. Third quarter notes I took, Jaden Ivey was still aggressive to come out of halftime. I think something that I was really paying attention to coming out of halftime was, are they going to collapse? Are they going to kind of, take their foot off the gas? And they didn't. Jaden Ivey was still attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line. And that is something that I was really happy to see out of Jaden Ivey, and also Ron Holland as well. Ron Holland was very aggressive as well, running the floor, had a couple of dunks. Really liked what I saw out of him. And one player I do want to mention that I didn't talk about any of this offseason, and it's because I just don't know too much about him. But his name was called quite a bit, and that was Wendell Moore. Wendell Moore, man. Wendell Moore had such an impact in a short amount of time. There was a play where it was 4-on-1. He broke up an opportunity for the Bucks to score, and then he blocked the shot like 2 seconds later. Wendell Moore was very active, blocking shots, switching defensively, just being at the right place at the right time. I do want to give kudos to Wendell Moore for playing really hard tonight. Was really impressed with the limited time that we did see out of Wendell Moore in this first preseason game against the Bucks, but I was really impressed with it. Once transition to the fourth quarter. One thing we saw was actually two big lineups with Isaiah Stewart and Paul Reed. Um, I like it. I like it off the bench. It was kind of just garbage time. The Bucks after the third quarter, it was 91-79. Pistons had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but we did see two big lineups to start about 2 or 3 minutes into the second quarter. You saw Paul Reed and Isaiah Stewart out there just protecting the rim. And I was really impressed with Paul Reed, honestly. He had a couple of plays. He had a block shot. He had a chase down block. He had a couple of plays. He had a nice little assist to Marcus Sasser that just got straight to the basket. Paul Reed was pretty impressive in a short amount of time. Sticking with Marcus Sasser, though, really liked what I saw from Marcus Sasser as well, you guys. He was kind of playing that backup point guard role. He was finding guys out there. When it was time for him to score, he would score. When it was time for him to initiate the offense, he was initiating the offense. Now I know a lot of us, going into the summer league, we're like, we don't want to see Marcus Sasser play backup point guard. But he's gotten a lot better at handling the basketball and finding his teammates. So maybe we'll see Marcus Sasser as a backup point guard on this team. I don't know. Still really early to tell. It is only the first game of the preseason, but was really impressed with what I saw to Marcus Sasser tonight. And the final note I took, and then we're going to get into the Q&A questions, as I'm sure you guys are sick of me just rambling for the past 12 minutes. You guys, we forced 20 turnovers tonight. Now, I get it was a preseason game, but usually it's the Pistons turning over the ball 20 times a game. Tonight, it was our defense. Our defense forced 20 turnovers against the Milwaukee Bucks preseason team. I was impressed with that. I was impressed with their defense. I was impressed with the consistency. Excuse me. Almost hurled a little bit. I apologize. I had Wingstop before the game, and it's not agreeing with me. But our defense, this was really consistent, I think, for a good 3 quarters. If we can get a full 48 minutes, I think this team has a chance to be a pretty solid basketball team. Not a 14-win basketball team, but I was really impressed with a lot of people. You didn't have Tobias Harris tonight. You didn't have Bobby Klippman tonight, but the players that did play, they stepped up. It seemed like everyone that hit the court tonight made an impact. But I do want to, get into your questions, comments that you guys have right now live on YouTube. So we're going to go to a couple of comments and then we'll just wrap this, podcast up. So I don't want to, be on for an hour like I usually am, but we'll go to a couple of questions that you guys do have. This comes from PD Mac. Shout out to PD. This team will definitely be in the play-in contention most of the season. I get Milwaukee was without Giannis, but we were without Tobias and Asar. Yeah, PD, I agree with you. I mean, if they play that level of defense, if they play that consistent on both ends of the floor, I 100% agree with you. Obviously, they were without Giannis, and that's huge. But to your point, we were without Asar, Tobias, Bobby Klippman, right? I think this is a good basketball team. I think you saw what JB talked about in his press conferences. Everything he said, I think that he backed it up. He said, give us until, January, February, you'll see that Detroit Pistons style of basketball. And I think we saw some of that tonight. We saw some of that defense that a lot of us that are Pistons fans are very prideful of. We saw them playing great defense, switching, communicating. I know it's preseason and we shouldn't get too hyped, but a win's a win, and I was really impressed with how they played tonight. Got a comment from Noogies. It says that boy Ivy was having a game today. Obviously won't shoot threes this good. Seems like he's confident in his shooting. Yeah, I tweeted out something earlier, and I said it looked like Jaden Ivey was having fun. And he just seemed a little bit more relaxed. I think he knew he was going to get playing time. Wasn't really worried if the coach was going to rip him out immediately. And he was hitting his threes to your point. But if he's just a, let's say, 36% 3-point shooter, it will work better with Cade Cunningham playing in the backcourt together. And obviously, JB did stagger them a little bit tonight, where there was, time where Ivy was out there and Cade wasn't. But I think what you're going to see out of Jaden Ivey this year is you're definitely going to see at least 30 minutes a night on every given night. Like I think with Ivy, you're going to see consistent minutes for him, and I think that's something we didn't really get to see last year because of Monty. But Jaden Ivey just seems happier to me. First time I've seen him smile in a long time. Like he seemed like he was genuinely happy to be playing basketball. And last year, I really did not see that too much. And it's just a testament to his character and the professional that he is. I mean, he could have, went off on like social media and said, like, I don't like Monty, but he didn't. But he looked really happy out there. He looked like he was enjoying himself. PD has a comment that says, this is the difference of having Monty and JB as the coach. One coach was going through the motions, the other is trying to make progress. I 100% agree. I know, given it's just one preseason game, but, Ivy, Cade, Malik, Duran, Stu, like all those guys tonight, they looked like they were, having fun out there. They were competing and playing just good basketball. We got a comment from Trutella, and it says, it's amazing what happens when you have a coach who believes in you. Honestly, man, like I'm happy for Ivy, man. I really am. You guys know that I was a really big Jaden Ivey advocate, coming like pre-draft conversations. I still am. I wanted to work with him in Detroit. He's such a special player. And I think he's not even scratching the surface of what he could possibly be. He was scoring at all three levels. He was getting to the basket. He was hitting his threes. Had some, nice little floaters off the glass. Like Jaden Ivey isn't even a finished product yet. And I think last year was just kind of a stain because a lot of fans were like, Monty doesn't think he's good, so he must not be good. That wasn't really the case. Monty just wanted to play Killian because he wanted the defender out there. But I saw a comment earlier. I think it was Arthur. I just saw that commented it as Ivy played better defense. Yeah, he did. I thought his defense was pretty good tonight. I thought that he was more consistent. He was actively looking to defend. There was a little play where Damian Lillard, tried to foul bait, and Ivy took exception to it and then blocked him on a possession, but the Bucks got the ball back. But Ivy was out there trying to, play both ends of the floor, and I think he's capable of playing defense. I think he's still learning, techniques, screens, stuff like that. But I was really impressed with Jaden Ivey, and I think a lot of you guys were as well. Got a comment from Rob. Looks like they're having fun. Yeah, that's what JB said during his presser. He's like, I want to make this fun for the young guys. And I think that that's so important, and maybe it kind of goes unnoticed by fans, is last year did not look like they were having fun whatsoever. Tonight, given it was a preseason, you saw everyone on the bench celebrate for each other. They were moving the ball. They were passing the ball. Everyone got to touch the basketball. Everyone got their moments tonight to shine, and they were all supporting each other and having fun. Like, it was so great to see. I'm just kind of speechless right now, you guys, because we've gone through such a long rebuild that any term of short-term success that we have right now, we might overreact because we won 14 games last year. The season before it was 17. We haven't won a whole lot of basketball games, and I think I could speak for you guys watching right now. Like, we were used to winning a lot of basketball games. and we just really haven't done that since we started the rebuild. But hey, man, like I'm really happy that we got to win tonight. Happy that we're playing good basketball. I'm not about to cry, Devon, but man, it's I'm just happy. Eastside Meach, what's wrong with Bobby Clipman? No, I think I read Eastside. He just had a bruise. He confirmed that he'll be good to go by the start of the season. Nothing crazy. Just got a little bruise in practice. He should be good to go. Um, Probably by the beginning of the season, but him and Tobias, I think Tobias was sick, and then Bobby just had a little contusion, so he'll be good. Has to rest up, ice it up, and he should be good to go against the Pacers in a couple of weeks here. But I think we shouldn't really concern too much with Bobby. He should be playing pretty soon. I can't wait for Tuesday against the Suns. Yeah, that's gonna be an electric game. I believe it's at the Breslin Center and it's sold out. Can't get tickets to that, but yeah, man, going up against let's see if Devin Booker and Kevin Durant actually play. But that should be a really good game versus the Phoenix Suns. But you guys, I don't want to be on here too long. I might take another 2 or 3 minutes of questions. So that I'm sure you guys have to wake up early tomorrow for work. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just did want to kind of give this my thoughts on tonight's game, some of the stuff I saw. Maybe there's something I missed. I'll probably go back and read these live stream comments, but was just really impressed with just everyone tonight, from top to bottom, from like Cade to Donis Jenkins had a good game. I thought everyone played really well. This is from Just Football Academy Australia. Shout out to you, man. Thoughts on Reed at the 4? Him playing power forward. I wouldn't rule it out. I think there are situations, and what I mean by situations, I think when you play bigger teams, you could definitely try to see if he could play some power forward. I don't know. I don't think anything's off the table with JB. He said that they were going to experiment a lot with lineups during preseason. We could see him at power forward during the preseason. I don't know about the regular season, but I think he's capable if you do want to play him at the 4. Got a comment from Kyle. Kyle says, Holland looked like a rookie. He had great energy. You can see Holland being a key piece. Yeah, he looked great. He looked really good. I loved his defense tonight. I loved his energy. I mentioned it a little while ago at the top of the podcast, but he definitely looked like a guy that is going to be fighting for a rotation spot, to say the least. But really happy what I saw out of him. If Asar can't get cleared by the NBA and the league, don't be surprised if you see Ron Holland being used in kind of like an Asar role, is like that defender role, that this energy and glue guy, because I think he's more than capable of filling that role until Asar does get cleared by the league. But really liked what I saw out of Asar tonight, or Ron tonight. Holland and Thompson look like similar players. How do you give them both playing time? That's a good question. And I'm not going to act like I have the answer, because I don't. I think at least both of them will play. Playing them together might be a little difficult because of the perimeter spacing, to your point. But I think one of them can play on the second unit, and one of them can possibly play in the starting lineup if you want to have a defender out there. I think both of them are versatile defenders, can defend multiple positions. But to your point, like the perimeter spacing, I think is the biggest question. Again, I don't have the answers. It's more probably like a coach could probably answer that. Just from my vantage point, I think you're going to have Asar starting and Holland coming off the bench. You'll always have at least one like Swiss Army knife defender out there with them. I think until one of them proves that they can knock down an open 3-point shot, I don't think you're really going to see them together too much, unless it's crunch time and it's a really close game and you just want to make a defensive stop. But I think for right now, um, you're gonna have to separate them and until we know, you know, if they can make a shot. Uh, I talked about him a little bit earlier, Robin. I liked his energy. He wasn't a guy that I really talked about this offseason, Wendell Moore. But I liked what I saw out of him. I liked the hustle plays that he made, like him, blocking shots. For only being 6'5", he's very active. Um, it'll be really interesting to see though if he does make the roster. If he has like impact games like he had tonight, you never know. He may make the roster. But I liked what I saw out of him tonight. We'll do one more question, you guys, and then I'll wrap it up. Talk to you guys this week. We'll definitely be doing a podcast this week. Probably on Tuesday night after the Suns game. But we'll do one more question. Let's see. Well, I don't really see anyone really asking questions. I just see you guys talking right now in the comment section. Absolutely love that. But appreciate you guys just coming on after after the game. That comment actually made me laugh about money. I'm not going to read it live on YouTube, but you guys in the comment section can definitely read that. But appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate you guys listening to me ramble for the past like 26 minutes. But hope you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Take care. Peace.